Joining us tonight to dig into the legal specifics here is Harry Litman. He's a former U.S. attorney and Deputy Assistant Attorney General at the Justice Department. Harry, good to have you back. So to get the warrant,
Thanks,
my understanding is you have to get the sign-off from a federal magistrate. How specific do you have to get? Because I was looking, Washington Post is reporting earlier this year, improperly taken cocktail napkins were recovered, I guess, for the archives. Is it something like that that rises to this level, or does it have to be a top-secret military blueprint? What rises to the level of raid?
Well, first of all, not a raid, service of a search warrant, and you have to lay out probable cause to believe a crime has occurred. That's something that a magistrate will determine. In this case, however, everybody knows this affidavit is going to see the light of day eventually and be fly-specced, so I suspect they were very specific and detailed. It's a little bit of a tactical judgment call on their part, but my strong suspicion is they made it in favor of more detail, not less, and making it positively bulletproof.
And understanding that everyone's going to see this warrant, you think that Ray and Garland, they saw it beforehand too, right?
They signed off on it. That would be truly extraordinary if they line edited it, but they had to have known that it was coming. I think they probably trusted their professional staff to lay out the affidavit in total fine detail.
The FBI agents only, I don't know if you want to call it raid or executed a warrant at Mar-a-Lago. Not Bedminster, not Trump Tower. What does that tell you that they only went to Mar-a-Lago?
Well, first of all, only, it is his primary residence, but I think it seems fairly certain at this point, Chance, that one of the crimes they were investigating, maybe the lead one, maybe the only one, was the mishandling and removal of classified documents. And that focuses on Mar-a-Lago. That's where he brought them to. That's where agents went to visit to discuss that crime. So that's what was the leading charge laid out in the affidavit. If they find other things while executing the search about other crimes, they can take it. And they potentially laid out other crimes, evidence to believe there were other crimes as well there. But what it mainly tells me is it's the documents charge.
That's exactly what I wanted to ask you. If the FBI turned up unrelated evidence of crimes, if they went in for the cocktail napkins and wind up with bank fraud documents, do they pursue it?
Yeah, as long as they're executing the search legally. It says, for instance, we want a cell phone. They take the cell phone. The cell phone has evidence of bank fraud. That's totally legit.
Okay. Finally, Harry, the New York Post reports the judge involved here, Bruce Reinhart. He worked in the U.S. Attorney's Office and then represented Jeffrey Epstein's staff and then was appointed federal magistrate. Any of that concern you, or do you think the FBI and DOJ leaders had sufficient grasp of this? Like, does this magistrate worry you?
So first, there's not the slightest doubt that they absolutely had full grasp. In terms of the magistrate, I'd sure like to know more. The Epstein case was a huge case down in Miami, and that means that many defense attorneys were representing many satellite defendants. To me, that's a real reach without more, that he was somehow, it's just to try to put magistrate within two Epstein, but I see no real proof that there's any reason to suspect anything untoward.
Okay. Sounds like your political Richter scale may be high, but as far as the ground underneath DOJ right now, you think it's pretty firm?
Yeah, the legal ground is firm for what they've done to date. Now, of course, Trump, it's absolutely unprecedented, and it plays by its own rules. So I'm sure it's totally solid in a normal case. I'm also very confident that it's solid even as to Trump. That is, Although it's been reported just recently in the New York Times that it's separate from January 6th, there's not the slightest doubt in my mind, and I worked there for a long time, including with Merrick Garland, that it's all tied together and coordinated with what they're trying to do with January 6th, including potentially, I have an op-ed on this today, potentially bringing the mishandling of documents as a freestanding charge in the relative near future, because other of the more serious charges against Trump would take a lot longer to develop, and they begin to be up against the big 2024 timeline.
Harry Litman, your years in the upper rungs of DOJ are really useful today. Thank you so much for helping us out.
Thanks a lot, Chance. My pleasure.